Yo, what's up, fam? And welcome back to Mindset Minutes with Coach Lynch, y'all. Yo, listen, we don't just get motivated here, y'all. We get mentally conditioned. We train the inner man and the inner woman to win in real life, y'all. And that's where and when it matters the most. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that matters the most. You hear me? The ones that win in life, in business, and in relationships, they train mentally, spiritually, and emotionally just as much as they train physically, y'all. So let's lock in because today's episode, y'all, is a great one. I want you to grab your notes because here we go. Repeat after me, y'all. If you feed it, it'll grow. I'll say it again. If you feed it, it will grow. Yo, listen, last week we did a root check, right? And now, how many of y'all committed to the conscious practice that we had to do by root checking yourself early in the morning when you first get up? See, look, checking your roots every morning before you check the gram, before you check the world, yo, that's the important work. That has to become a ritual in your life. It has to become a routine, a practice, and a discipline, just like brushing your teeth, y'all. It's hygiene for your mindset. You hear me? But look, after you check your roots, you got to be intentional about what you feeding them. So repeat after me. If you feed it, it'll grow. All right, now listen, the most successful people in the world, y'all, they're highly intentional about what they feed their mind, what they feed their spirit, and what they feed their body. So write this down and repeat after me. Look, I feed my spirit, I focus my mind, I train my body, it's my time. Say it again, I feed my spirit, I focus my mind, I train my body, it's my time. Now, last week, y'all, we talked about storms, we talked about struggle, and we talked about strength. We learned that strong trees don't grow with ease. I know I made it rhyme so you can remember it all the time, but guess what? That's what I do. You hear me? This week, we're going to take it a little deeper, though, because what happens after the storm is really what matters the most, all right? So high performers, look, they don't just survive adversity. They grow from it. They stay rooted and they get clear. They wind up choosing, y'all, very carefully what they want to water. So here's the real question for you today. What are you feeding, y'all? And what are you watering? All right? Because what you feed is actually going to win. Now let's dig into it real quick. What you feed wins and what you starve dies. Repeat after me. If I feed it, it'll grow. So look, I'm going to keep giving you this one the whole time. If you feed it, it'll grow so it sticks with you and you will know, y'all. I can't feed and water the nonsense, y'all. That applies to faith or fear. If you feed fear, it's going to grow. If you feed faith, that's what's going to be in our life, y'all. If you feed confidence, confidence will grow. If you feed doubt, doubt is going to grow. Just like worry and belief. You're going to have to pick the two, y'all. They're two sides of every coin. There's an opposite to each and every one. So the people who operate at the highest levels, they understand that every thought, every word, and every habit is either fueling their future or feeding their failure. I'll say it again. The people who operate at the highest levels, they understand that every thought, every word, every habit is either fueling their future or feeding their failure. And that's what they make a decision every day to feed what strengthens them and to starve what weakens them. I'm going to say it again. They make a decision every day to feed what strengthens them and starve what weakens them. So now you got to start making a choice because we intentional about our roots. We're intentional about we watering. And now we're going to be intentional about how we feed it and what we feed, y'all. Now write this down. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. I'm going to say it again. Yo, if you've been around me for a while, you heard these things over and over, but now I'm putting them in a comprehensive step. You can go to one spot, you can get it all in one lesson, and you can do the work, the inner work that we need to get it right, y'all. So look, I want you to sit with that for a second. Your mind is a garden. Your thoughts are seeds. You can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. All right? Because when you keep sitting with it, when you keep rehearsing it, when you keep rehearsing it internally, then eventually it becomes what you reap externally. Yep. These are seeds, y'all. And let's break it down real quick for the conscious living practice of this week. Get your pen, get your notes, because here's where the work begins. All right. Now, Let's jump into the thought garden real quick. Every morning, before you check your phone, before you check the world, I want you to check your roots and then be intentional about watering them, right? Once you start watering the right stuff, right? I need you to ask yourself, look, what am I watering today? You hear me? What am I watering today? Because we intentional about watering them, but now we need to be, what am I watering today? All right? The ones who win in life, pay attention. They don't wake up and let the world tell them who they are. They wake up and intentionally water who they want to be. They intentionally water their identity, y'all. They ask themselves, am I feeding discipline or distraction? Am I watering peace or anxiety? Or look, am I giving energy to growth or am I giving the energy to fear? Because look, your thoughts are seeds. Yep. You can grow flowers, you can grow weeds, and your attention is the water, y'all. So whatever you water, you feed. And if you feed it, say it with me, it'll grow. Now let's talk about the science behind this real quick. Now, remember your thoughts, right? We're talking about thoughts. So in your thoughts, look, you watering these things all the time. That gets in your subconscious mind. Now your subconscious mind controls 95% of what you do. So it don't think, it don't reason, it just runs the programming that you giving it. You hear what I said? That's why the most intentional people in the world, the athletes, the CEOs, the top performers, they're all always updating their mental software and their mental programming. You got to be intentional about this the same way as they are, because if you don't like the output, then you got to change the input. The input is the programming, and that comes from what we're feeding it or what we're watering. GIGO. All right, write this down. GIGO. Garbage in, garbage out. But it's also for the good too. All right, good in, good out. So GIGO can go both ways. If you think about it, you're going to say, okay, I got something good out of this. It's because I fed it something good. I watered something good. I got something bad out of it. It's because I watered something bad. I fed it something bad. You got to protect your inputs, because whatever you feed your mind, y'all, you will eventually live out in your life. Now, your conscious living practice number 2, real quick, we're going to feed the roots and we're going to starve the weeds. All right. Now, let's get real for a second. Y'all know me. I like to shoot straight to you. What are you feeding that's not serving you? Write that down. Think about it. It's the first question that you got to ask yourself early in the morning or late at night before you get ready to go to bed. This is what we're journaling, y'all. What am I feeding that's not serving me? All right. Look, what are you letting take root that doesn't belong in your life anymore? Look, the most successful people, I'm always going to refer to them because those are the people that are winning, and we want to keep winning as well, right? So the most successful people, they know what to let go of. You hear me? You got to know what to let go of. Y'all know how I do, y'all. So here's how you do it. I want you to identify the weed. I want you to identify the fear. I want you to identify comparison, complaining, distraction. After you do that, I want you to cut it off at the source. Because yes, we do compare. Yes, we do have fear. Yes, we do complain. And yes, we have a bunch of distractions, especially with this phone and all these different apps that I got, right? All right, we're going to cut it off at the source. And that might mean muting some of your apps. It might mean deleting them or something like that. It might mean muting a person or muting a voice. It might mean blocking a habit or blocking a person. It might just mean taking a pause and stepping back from certain things, certain platforms, certain people, certain places. You might just have to take a pause from some stuff. But what we're going to do after that, so 1, we're going to identify it. 2, we're going to cut it off at the source. And then after we do that, we're going to replace it with power. You hear me? We can replace it with, 5-10 minutes of stillness, sometimes in the morning or at night. Or if you get pockets of peace in the daytime, you can have a little bit of stillness where you just shut off and cut off everything, y'all, and just be still. Y'all know that saying, like, peace, be still? Yeah, I'm telling you, man, once you get still for a second, some clarity is going to come. Then, look, we can actually, power some things through movement. I know they're polar opposites, but they both work. We can move and look, because action changes things, right? We can power stuff through gratitude. We can be having a bad time or having a bad day, and we can just be grateful for something, man. It'll turn things all around. That's called power, man. We can power things through reading, gathering more information, affirmations, right? And then even getting around high-value people. You ever notice how your frequency rises when you get around high-value people? They start to pour into you. They feed you and stuff like that. Repeat after me, man. If I feed it, it'll grow. One more time. Say, if I feed it, it'll grow. And I only feed what makes me stronger. All right. Now, real quick, man, before we get out of here, here's your challenge for the week. Now, don't just know what to feed. Look, know how to feed it. Now, here's one simple practice for each of these pillars to get you started. All right. To feed your spirit, I want you to start your day with 60 seconds of stillness. Prayer, gratitude. I want all three of those done. You know what I mean? I usually take the people who are just starting and I say, pick one of them, right? But for y'all are going to do all three. You got to find some time to get still early in the morning when you first get up. You got to find some time for prayer as soon as your feet touch the floor. Y'all hear me? As soon as you open those eyes, you got to find time for prayer. And as soon as you get still, as soon as you pray, get still and get a couple seconds, I want you to do your gratitude, y'all. And I'm talking about writing it down. I ain't just saying I'm thankful for this and I'm grateful for that. I want you to actually write it down now. And I need you to do that before the world gets loud. You hear me? I need you to get grounded. And we're going to get grounded in prayer. We're going to get grounded in stillness. And we're going to get grounded in gratitude. All right. Now, to focus our mind, I want you to write down your top 3 intentions or affirmations for the day. I want you to say them out loud. Then I want you to repeat them. Look, whenever doubt shows up. So if you got them and you got them written, then you already can refer to them when the stuff pops up in our life. Now, the last thing, we got to train our body. You remember I said I feed my spirit, I focus my mind, I train my body, it's my time. Now, I need you to commit to moving your body to 20, 30 minutes a day, y'all. It could be a walk, it could be a lift, it could be some stretching. I just need you to move, and I need you to move with purpose and on purpose. You hear me? These ain't big steps, but guess what, y'all? They're foundational steps. They're foundational things that can actually turn into habits. And the most successful people, guess what? They do this stuff consistently. You hear me? And that's what we are, because we're here. There's no accidents in life. You hear what I said? You are where you're supposed to be because it's part of your personal growth and evolution. So if you're here, you're among, the people that are trying to become and that already are highly successful. And what we're going to do is continue to feed it, because if you feed it, it'll grow. Now, I want you to drop a plant, a tree, some type of emoji in the comments and let me know that you're ready to start watering the right things this week. You hear me? And I need you to make sure you subscribe right now, because every single episode is a layer, you hear me, of this inner training. And we can't miss no layers, y'all. We got to keep them layers strong. Now, this ain't just hype. It's real transformation. You hear me? From the inside out. And always remember, y'all, the only way out is through. Y'all hear me? And that's what we do. We do this at AWOL, y'all. We fight, we win, we stay strong, we stay AWOL strong. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one, man. Do me a favor. Hit me on the next one. Peace.